Hello everyone, come and join Steve and me out on the boat for an overnight session fishing out of the Plymouth Sound. We slipped from Saltash, and as soon as we got to the corner of the dockyard we knew it was going to be too choppy to get further afield out to the deeper reefs and wrecks, so we decided it was going to be best to stick close to the coast for the rest of the evening. We stopped at a reef inside the Sound just to get our gear sorted out, and on the very first drop I managed to hook into a small wrasse, which, if you believe in the curse of the first fish on the first cast, like I do, wasn't a good sign for the rest of the trip. It definitely stung me before, and this session wasn't going to be any different. And they stuck Phoebus spines in my fingers. So we're going east. That's Steve blocking the entire Lemieux stone there. We floated around inside the Yelm estuary for a bit, but we couldn't pick up any fish, so we decided to move back across the Sound over to sort of Penlee, Sand area and try and find a bit of shelter, as the wind was going southwest at this point. We narrowly avoided this tree, and this is Steve showing me what we can see on the fish avoider. So we dropped anchor, and I thought I would have a crack at the lures just casting towards the coast there. I tried soft plastics of all sizes, a couple metals, and a couple surface lures because it was quite calm over in this corner of the Sound. Tried every sort of retrieve you could think of, and didn't get a single pike. It's been really tough going on lures for me. I think when I'm just out for lures with bass, I'm on maybe 5 or 6 blanks in a row. I've picked up wrasse and pollock and things, but it's not particularly exciting. I've only had 1 bass this year so far on the lures, so a bit of a disappointing start compared to May last year. Decided to drop some bait down, so I threaded these 2 rag onto a trace of, I think it was 16-pound fluoro with some flashy luminous bits, and I stuck them on a boom about 4 foot from the bottom, and I think we were in about 40 feet of water here. Just try to see if there's any bass kicking around. Steve did a bit of jigging. Steve hooks into his first fish of the evening. This is about 2 hours in, and it was an absolute monster pollock. Bloody hell. So I decided to up the bait size and put this sardine on a 4-row hook and 60-pound mono. Just fishing on the same boom setup. But it didn't go too well, so we decided to move round the corner a little bit from Penlee, right into the bay off Sand, just as the sun was setting. After a little while, Steve finally hooked into the first decent fish of the evening. We both thought it was going to be a decent sized conger, the way Steve said it was fighting, and it was a decent lump of weight. However, it turned out to be a decent sized blonde ray that was caught on a full sardine on just a running ledger, dropped straight below onto sandy ground. It was hooked quite deep, but it was only a single hook, so it wasn't too difficult to get out once I got the de-hooker out. And she went back, safe and sound. I managed to hook into a dogfish later on, going on about 1 in the morning, on the smaller hook, the 2-0 hook, with a small strip of octopus tentacle. I get the hook out quite easy, and then as I'm pulling on it, it doesn't feel like the dogfish is letting go, and then I realise that it's going through its gills and I'm grabbing on the bottom end of the tentacle underneath its fin. So I've probably flossed its gills pretty clean, but once I realised that, I got it out and it was alright. And it went back safe and sound. So we hung about for a bit, but there weren't any other bites, so we pulled anchor and headed back upriver. We dropped some baits down underneath the Tamar Bridge, but there weren't any bites there either. I'm going to get back out with the lure rod and lures as soon as I can to try and get some bass out, because that's what I really love. And as soon as I can get a few big ones out, I'll be a happy chappy. Cheers all.